Oh my God, what the hell is this? He's gonna try it!
And will this be enough? Damian takes it! 1, 2,
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Ruckus Wrastlin. I am Josh Maber, alongside my tag team partner in this journey, Justin Toner. How are we doing today, sir?
I'm fantastic.
That's good to hear. That's what's great to hear. And shout out, thank you, Josh Kimmel, for filling in for me last week. It was a great show, so thank you so much for that to keep this show rolling of the No Holds Bar and a part of the conglomerate that is Finns Talk Sports Network. So thank you so much for all their help of making the show happen when some of us are away. But anyway, speaking about this show, let's start off with the weirdest storyline in real life that I've ever seen when it comes to a wrestler. And that is of one Odyssey Jones, which he finally made a great debut. He got caught up on the main roster like a year and a half ago. Then he gets drafted twice to Raw without ever appearing. And finally makes a debut on one of the best Raws we've seen in quite some time. Makes a crazy splash. I mean, with those pump, I don't know what you call them, with those slams to, pump handle.
Like sidewalk slams.
Okay, thank you. Sidewalk slams to AOP, and at the same time, had a solid show the next day. And you got a really cool storyline going with the New Day and Woods and Kofi. And you were like, they had me hook, line, and like I really was enjoying that mid card storyline that they were doing. And then we didn't see Odyssey, and it really, and then all of a sudden you heard rumor, and then all of a sudden the reports came out that he was off the roster page on WWE, and then so everyone's like, well, and then they reported that wasn't a mistake. So we kind of Ruckus Wrestling, we kind of wait around to see what SRS finally reports on it. Really didn't see anything. We saw a bunch of scuttlebutt from random sources saying, he's been fired. I mean, if you put two together, that would make sense. Then you're like, why? And then Justin over on our Discord page posted someone that's basically been out to get Odyssey / out him as an abuser. And then he was fired, and then it came out because of domestic abuse allegations. Is there anything I missed in that story?
No, you pretty much covered everything. This is talking about coming out of nowhere. Although I did see people pointed out a Twitter account that had been talking about alleging that Oz Jones had abused them. They were in a relationship, posting for quite a while on X about it. So I don't know when WWE fully became aware of this. It had to have been, I don't know how long they've been aware, but they finally must have decided to look into it and found some pretty damning evidence for them to be like, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Just like that, it's like he's gone.
The last thing WWE needs is more legal disputes about violence against and domestic violence and whatnot, and all that. So it's the last thing they really need. It's just one thing after another, it seems. But hey, man, you do the crime, you got to pay the time. Wait for it to go out. I mean, I hope it's honestly at this point, I hope it doesn't turn into a Zachary Wentz situation.
Right.
For the Rascals that's with TNA, where he was fired, and then it finally came out after the due diligence that she basically made the whole thing up. And now Zach's back doing his thing, and we can get to that. We'll get into him and Wesley and everything with that a little bit later. But typically when these comes out, you have to do your due diligence, and they did it pretty quickly. So this just tells me that they found it pretty quickly, and they acted on it pretty quickly. Where, Zach that was back really when, I think it's two different situations.
Yeah.
So
they yeah, especially when he's in the middle of an important storyline, and it's like I'm glad that's it's like next thing nope. It's like because so whatever they dug up must have been like there must have been enough evidence for them to be like, no, you gotta go, buddy.
Yeah. And if you thought that it was just like a quick decision, I mean, he was off TV for at least 2 straight weeks.
Yeah.
So they knew something a while ago that just
Yeah, and then it's like it was only because people noticed that his profile had been completely scrubbed from the website, and that only happens if someone is gone.
Yeah,
But,
it doesn't even like Edge and everybody gets moved to the alumni section.
yeah, people will leave on good terms going to the alumni section. It's
Yeah.
like Ricochet's in the alumni section.
Right.
He decided not to resign. He went to AEW. He's in the alumni section because he left on good terms. It's like if someone is fired for doing something not great or good or whatever, however you want to phrase it, yeah, they're going to be completely exercised from the website.
Yeah. So, I think they obviously I think they did their due diligence and wouldn't just do this if they didn't do what they needed to do, and especially now with TKO involved and a lot more. I mean, it wasn't like WWE didn't have their lawyers, but there's a lot more people that are involved legally with all these things. I don't know. I'm just speculating on that. That's just me just throwing stuff out there with the fact that it's a totally different situation than it was 2 years ago, as far as how the WWE is now. So I think they, hope all the justice is served with that. But I did like how Woods immediately came out, was like, had nothing to do with me, on Twitter and all that. Because basically the this has to do with the storyline, has everything to do outside of the ring.
Yeah.
With that, and then now we're kind of scrambling. We'll figure out when we talk about Raw where to go with the New Day, because I was really enjoying what they were doing with that story.
Yeah, no, it was. I definitely had my interest, and now it's going to be interesting what they're going to have to do with him having been pulled from the whole angle.
Right. And then the second thing I want to talk about was just kind of announced a couple, maybe 24, 48 hours ago, that the original WWE has some of the great commercials, has some of the great segments involved with Stone Cold, and even with that Royal Rumble during COVID where they went through the offices and stuff. But Titan Towers in Connecticut is up for sale.
Yeah, the original.
The internet was saying it's not my joke, but Tony Khan could do the most hilarious thing.
Yeah, he's not. That would make it. He knows it would make it. It would make him look petty. So
yeah, it would very much like look petty. I myself would still have a good chuckle out of it, but at the end of the day, it's not. I don't think the IWC is going to really be. I think they're going to sway on the dude. Quit being petty. You talk about you can't get WWE out of your mouth, and every 2 seconds it feels like you're talking about the WWE. Dude, you're 5.5, 6 years old. We know you're not WWE, and you got some really good momentum now. Don't buy it. But interesting to see how long. I'm pretty sure they're probably just going to sell it to like a leasing company, and then they're gonna, just office space the crap out of it. Is what I'm thinking. With that. And the last little thing I want to talk about, it's not going to be a big news section today, ladies and gentlemen, because we are trying to a lot more to cover with the shows, with 2 pay-per-views and all that. We're not covering SmackDown. Here, let me cover SmackDown for you. The Bloodline wasn't there. Okay, now we can go to the rest of it.
Yeah.
They were, and honestly, the reason Bloodline wasn't there, for those who didn't know, is because of Alpha. They had to do their, say their goodbyes to
That's why they had the pre-tape promo. The only important thing that came out of that was the main event was, I thought, was entertaining enough with the Mia Yim Nia Jax street fight, and Bayley came back. That's about it.
Yeah. With that, and then also too, LA Knight has 2 defenses as he's been U.S. champ, and Logan Paul had all of 3. In his run. So I just want to. That doesn't. If that should surprise anyone, it shouldn't.
Nope.
Because we're talking about 2 different types of people.
Yep.
It has 2 different types of schedules. So it happens. I mean, you talk about Roman Reigns' defense, the title defense in 4 years compared to what Cody's already done. That's just how it works sometimes.
Yep.
And anyway, the last thing I want to talk about is Damian Priest was on, I think, Chris Van Fleet.
Yeah, I think he was on Van Fleet.
Because I gave where the sources come from. I always got to give them their due on that. And if you haven't followed Chris Van Fleet, he probably is my favorite wrestler interviewer.
He does great interviews. It's like I was watching the Jesse Bonaventura one he did. It was great. It was a lot of fun.
Right. And if you don't think that Chris Van Fleet's a good interviewer, he was interviewed by the Undertaker in his 6 Feet Under podcast because he's so good, and he was talking about him of how he got into the business of interviewing. That's how good Chris Van Fleet is. So I got to give him his flowers on that. We haven't done that in the show yet. I wanted to, but Damian Priest came out and said that he was cast as a role. Probably as an Atlantean in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, but was told he couldn't do it. And it wasn't by Marvel. That's all he said. Now, let's read between the lines on how these things work. I know Dollar, what was his full name? Used to be Top Dollar was on a podcast or on some interview a while ago, basically talking about not saying Damian Priest's name, I didn't think, but he basically said, like, look, if WWE sets it up, you can do it. But if you do it on your own, that doesn't fly, which makes total sense. Because and let's paint the picture of, for everyone that doesn't know, this is how Vince's mind worked. You got big on your own, doing what you needed to do. Then Vince signs you for buku bucks. And then Vince wants to do what Vince wants to do with you because now you're under his tree. Even though what you've done got you to this spot, but apparently it wasn't good enough because it doesn't come from Vince's mind because he's a super genius, even though I was doing Dusty there. But go ahead. That's kind of what my theory is.
Oh, yeah. It also fits with what Mercedes said, that one of the reasons that it wasn't just about the creative. One of the other reasons that she walked out of WWE was because they weren't going to let her do The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And she wanted to do that.
And they were also barking down. That's what happened with Lena Vega with her Twitch streams and like all that. You weren't able to do that.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that clip and you said it wasn't Marvel, I was like, Vince.
Yeah. Vince said no. So no, you can't do it. And I mean, and Damian made a business decision.
Yeah. Now things are a little different on Triple H, so I'm sure like if they, like look at Drew McIntyre has got a small.
I was really getting ready to pull up his poster.
Yeah, he's got a small role in Dave Bautista's new action film that's coming out this weekend.
Right.
I think it's The Killing Game, is it?
The Killing Game, yeah. He's listed as Drew Galloway.
Which is his real last name.
Yeah. So that was the real thing that I kind of liked is they showed the poster and it said Drew Galloway, and I was like, see?
So like things are different now, but it's unfortunate to hear that Seth had got a part in Captain America: Brave New World now because all the reshoots. Nobody knows if his part is even going to be in the movie anymore. So we'll find out when the movie comes out. But things are different now under Triple H. That there's a little bit more openings for wrestlers to do stuff in Hollywood while they're still active wrestlers.
I mean, I don't think if Samoa Joe was still with WWE, he wouldn't be Sweet Tooth in the Twisted Metal series. Plus Apollo and Omos were going for Axel in that show too. They auditioned. We don't know if they won, but they got the parts or anything. But more wrestlers, you're hearing more and more wrestlers.
Yeah, Triple H would allow Samoa Joe to do Twisted Metal.
And plus, like Liv Morgan and I forget another wrestler assigned with another agency. So basically, it's WWE saying like,
Liv guest starred on Chucky.
Yeah, she did. She did that too. Not my cup of tea, but she did guest star on it. But that's not here or there. But yeah, I mean, and you just a lot more freedom because they're independent contractors.
Yes.
Okay, which means they're not tied to that company per se. You still have to get permission. I mean, even AEW with all their wrestlers and stuff, especially with and we'll go over I'm going to let the Kevin Kelly and the Twins lawsuit see how that plays out before we report on it. Because it just got announced about that lawsuit, legal stuff. There's a lot of. I just want to be correct when we report it.
Yeah, that's why I feel like don't want to comment on like open lawsuits or the whole the other domestic violence situation that came up. What happened to Nikki Garcia and her husband? That whole thing. It's like that's an unfolding story. So it's like it doesn't feel right to comment on that until we know all the facts.
Yeah.
So Oh, one more other quick big news. I don't know if you saw it. Bret Hart's going to be on Raw.
I just saw that. And they're in Canada, right?
Yeah, it's in Calgary. It's
Okay.
his hometown. So that.
And speaking about Bret Hart, they did drop. I don't know if you. I haven't watched. I haven't heard. I saw like clips, but I wasn't able to audibly hear what the trailer was for that Vince McMahon docuseries. And it's someone commented it's gonna be like, speaking about Bret Hart, it's gonna be like, it's gonna be funny when all like The Rock and John Cena and Triple H, they're all gonna skate around of not talking bad about Vince when Bret Hart's like, hold my Pat's Blue Moon, or Pat's Blue or whatever.
Yeah, Jackie Redmond announced it on Twitter, and Triple H retweeted to confirm that Bret is going to be on the show. Okay, so that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it will be. Him and you think he's probably going to have a segment with Sami Zayn?
Probably,
because
he's one of Sami's heroes. So.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
No, and maybe with Punk as well. Punk.
Oh yeah.
Punk.
Yeah. It just FTR's like no, but Dax is like, he surprised me for my birthday, so I'm good.
Yeah. So no, that'll be cool. He'll get like a mega pop.
Yeah. All right. So Bash or No Mercy first?
Let's do Bash because I got so much more to say about NXT as you can possibly imagine. We're going to have
yeah. All right, let's do Bash.
All right, here's a recap of what happened at Bash in Berlin, WWE's PLE on Saturday. We opened with WWE Undisputed Championship match. Cody Rhodes defending against Kevin Owens. Good stuff. Kevin Owens hesitated to take advantage of Cody's hurt knee. Came close to winning a couple times, but of course, Cody ended up emerging victorious as you would expect and retains the title. And the two hugged afterwards. Then we had the WWE Women's Tag Team title match. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair challenging as LaDonna and Alba Fire there in Holy Union. Bianca and Jade regained the tag titles, picked up the victory, and are now two-time tag champs. Then we had the strap match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. This was old school strap rules. You had to touch all four turnbuckles in a row in order to win. Good stuff between both guys. CM Punk hit several GTSs on Drew McIntyre, got the bracelet back, and touched the fourth turnbuckle to win the match. Then we had Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley taking on Dominic Mysterio and Women's World Champion Liv Morgan, representing Judgment Day in a mixed tag. Things got chaotic. Judgment Day tried to interfere, but it didn't work, and Rhea hit Riptide on Liv to pin her and win the match, set up a rematch between the two later on. Then we had the main event, WWE World Championship match. Gunther defending against Randy Orton. Awesome match as you would expect. They gave this one a lot of time, went over half an hour. In the end, Gunther was able to wear Orton down and use the sleeper to take Orton out and retain the championship. Gunther offered to shake his hand out of respect, and Orton accepted, showing sportsmanship to close out the show. So that happened all on this weekend's Bash in Berlin show.
All right. When I think it's the whole tag division, just in itself. I don't know. I'm confused.
Yeah.
Which just the whole time, and we'll get and just how they're booking the tag division in general now.
Yeah, both the men and women's tag divisions got issues right now. It's like they got tag teams that are not being featured enough. It's like it's almost it was almost like breaking the fourth wall when on Raw Kofi went to NXT. The Judgment Day haven't defended their tag titles in like 2 months, bro. It's like I was wondering like when's the last time they defended the tag titles? And then Kofi said that and I laughed out loud.
Yeah. And we'll get into it on Raw because I didn't really care for that either. But I thought the match was good. I just didn't like the result. That's it. But I thought they put on a really solid match. Yeah, no. Actually, the women's tag title match was a good match. I was just like, oh man, because I was hoping that Alba Fire and LaDonna would get a little bit longer on titles.
But apparently this feud is not over. We'll get to that when we get to Raw. Because it looks like they're going to a rubber. It's like they've set up a rubber match. So I was kind of like, but it was still, it's like not complaining about the match. Just the finish was, I was just like, you really need to put the towels back on them? I was like, well, I guess we'll see. But all the other results were what I expected. I mean, it's like, I was like definitely like 4 for 5 on predictions because I thought Double Fine was done where you keep the titles. I was wrong, but I got everything else right. I mean, Cody and KO couldn't have a bad match if they intentionally tried at this point. I don't think. There's some nice storytelling in that with that. I think that's going to come into play later. If they want to turn KO heel, that it's like they could use this match as the first stepping stone. Kind of like how they did the slow burn with McIntyre last year. Before
that was exactly that. I was getting ready to say, I'm like, are we going to do a McIntyre type of slow burn with it? Because
it's like he could have taken advantage of the knee more, but he didn't, and it's like and then he lost. So it's like, we shall see. I don't know if they're going to turn him heel. I mean, everyone's expecting Randy to turn heel. But at this time you never know. Yeah.
But I mean, KO, you can just tell, like, that's just those are two professionals that know that have good chemistry. That know what the hell they're doing.
Friends who know each other very well. So
yeah, I mean, if it wasn't anything of 4.5.
Also, kudos to the Berlin fans. This crowd was awesome. They were into the show the whole time. Strap match delivered exactly what I wanted. It had this time. I really felt the hate and the hatred and the anger in this match with what they were doing to each other. And some pretty clever spots, especially using the strap. Like I love the spot where Punk like Drew put the chair into the corner, try to use it on Punk, and later Punk literally pulls him headfirst into it, so it backfires. Yeah. And also, I was thinking, I was like, oh man, I would love it if like they do a spot where like Drew's carrying like a half-conscious Punk, try to touch turnbuckles, and when he turns around, Punk touches the turnbuckle behind his back. I was thinking that, and they did it. I was like, yes, they're doing it.
Yeah. And they're just like, how many times can you put this man to sleep? Apparently 7.
He hit like 5 GTSs on him?
I thought it was like 7.
It's like it was like there was several.
Yeah. So
but the finish was great. He GTS'd the crap out of him to make sure he was completely knocked the F out. Got the bracelet back and won. And
you thought that was the end.
Yes.
But no, we're just beginning.
Well, I knew it wasn't over because me and just about the 99% of the internet is expecting a Hell in a Cell match for these two at Bad Blood. So I was like, okay, so what's going to happen next that's going to justify going into Bad Blood and having the rubber match? And well, they executed that perfectly. I'm wrong. We'll get to that. Especially concerning where the bracelet's concerned. But yeah, no, I thought the strap match was a lot of fun. I liked it. I like this even a little more than the SummerSlam match. As much as I enjoyed the storytelling in the SummerSlam match, this match had a little bit more oomph to it, especially with the violence. So, really enjoyed it.
One day the Judgment Day might get a win over Davey Priest and Rhea Ripley. I mean, it was a great match. Just Liv has gotten so much better in the ring. From my eyes,
it was very entertaining stuff. And
yeah. And Dom is just so over as what he's doing. Yeah. It's when he debuted with his dad and everything, and I'm just like, look at this. There's just nothing. There's just a cookie cutter kid.
Talk about the heel turn changing the trajectory of someone's career. It's like,
I mean, Roman Reigns too, but he already had that.
Yeah.
We just didn't know this was. Dominic had this in him.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone knew that Roman was capable of pulling off. It's just that he was never getting the opportunity for it to do it properly under Vince, because Vince wanted him to be the John Cena babyface, which we got that one in the form of Cody,
right? And
there's nothing wrong with that.
No. But yeah, this last match, I like to call it Jim Cornette's wet dream.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's just two dudes that know what the hell they're doing that put on a wrestling match.
Yep.
And these two guys are just like, what's a professional wrestling match? I would just show them this, you know, and just show them Gunther tape, really, for this past 2 years, for sure. Drew just came out and said that his probably the best match he's ever done is the triple threat with him and with Gunther and Sheamus at WrestleMania. I also loved Samantha Irvin, and like you see Ludwig Kaiser's finger just come in and just stop her, and like pull and just do like the little like.
And the look on her face is like, okay, it's like, all right, I'm going to let you do this.
And then people were like, how did he land Tiffany Stratton? People were like, did you see how he asked the mic away from Samantha Irvin? And the Brash Berlin people just popped for him, and so it was. I mean,
he got a baby face pop when he came out to challenge LA Knight in his open challenge match on SmackDown the night before.
Yeah,
he was treated like a baby face. So
we knew they were going to feature Gunther and Ludwig a lot. So.
Yeah, I'm glad that they had. I love Kaiser's intro for Gunther, so I'm glad they got to do that. Ring General. I was like,
General. I like the way he's and like people were like duh, and like people made a mashup of him saying the, but just duh.
Yeah.
With that, but no, this match delivered, and this was better than King of the Ring match by far.
Oh yeah, this is even better than the King of the Ring match. This match was awesome.
It was just and did you like the handshake after, and the fact that they did it left-handed?
Yes, because
it always throws me off.
Because look, Gunther's a different kind of heel. He's a heel. He will badmouth you, and he will do sneak attacks. But when the match is on, he doesn't need to cheat to win, because he's that damn good. And if you earn his respect, you earn his respect. So I thought it was a neat moment that he had that show sportsmanship to Orton, saying, you know what, it's like, yeah, I beat you, but it's like you're still awesome, and I respect you. And that was a cool moment. Wasn't expecting it, but I liked it.
Yeah. No, I mean, overall, really. Do you
This was a good B level pay-per-view. It was good, solid. Not like nothing mind blowing. No real bad matches. Some really good stuff. It was entertaining.
Yeah. Do you because it seems like this is the format going forward of just like 5 matches, and then they're going to highlight more of the other mid-card stuff on Raw and SmackDown.
For this kind of show, 6. Like I like that. No Mercy felt a little bit better paced because it had 6, not 5 on Sunday night.
Yeah, I'm with you. I just need one more. 7 just seems like you're gonna leave a good feud with not enough time to really tell a story.
I'm fine with 7 or more on like the big the proper kind of pay-per-view, like a SummerSlam or Survivor Series. It's like
right. Yeah, like Survivor Series. Yeah, like those. Obviously, and then you can do.
Although Survivor Series is going to be light because it's like 2 of the big. There's 2 War Games matches, so it's like that's taking up a lot of people are going to get time when you have 2 War Games matches. So it's like, so that's it's fine that Survivor Series isn't that bloated. So, it felt they had to kill some time a little more than they needed to. So that's why I think 6. For if you want to do a 3-hour pay-per-view, 6 matches is just a pretty good number.
Yep. All right, let's move on to No Mercy.
Yes. All right, here's a recap of WWE's other PLE event this weekend, NXT's No Mercy on Sunday night. We opened with the NXT Tag Team title match, Chase U defending against Axiom and Nathan Frazier. Wild, chaotic stuff. Crowd really got into it. Axiom Nathan Frazier were able to defeat Chase U and become 2-time NXT Tag Team champions. After the match, Ridge Holland snapped and turned heel again, attacked Chase U, and DDT'd Andre Chase on top of the announce desk, despite the Hale's pleas not to do so, and Andre Chase was stretched out in an ambulance. Then we had Wesley taking on Zachary Wentz, break up with the Rascals and MSK. Zachary Wentz coming in as the new NXT TNA X Division champion. Things got chaotic at the end. Wesley tried to use a chair to cheat, but Trey Miguel showed up to stop him. And Zach went to the other cover and hit a UFO springboard cutter to defeat Wesley and win the match. Then we had the women's North American title match. Kalani Jordan defends Wendy Chu. Kalani picked up the victory. No surprise there. After the match, Sam Paxley ran in and attacked Wendy Chu as payback for what she did to her in the last couple weeks. Then we had the North American title match. Obafemi defending against Tony D'Angelo. Tony put up a good fight, but Obafemi overcame all the D'Angelo family and then took out Tony with the powerbomb to retain the title. Then we had the NXT Women's Championship match. Roxanne Perez defending against Jada Parker. Roxanne went after the ribs, which Jada was selling throughout the entire match. She put up a good fight, came close to winning, but after spinning out the outside, Roxanne hit Pop Roxer on the outside and did it again inside the ring to pin her and retain the championship. As Roxanne was celebrating, all of a sudden the lights went out, music played, and finally Julia debuted in NXT. She came out to a big reaction and had a stare down with Roxanne in the center of the ring. More on that on this week's episode of NXT. So Julia has finally arrived. Then we had the main event, NXT title match. Ethan Page defending against TNA's Joe Hendry with Trick Williams as the special guest referee. Crowd was really hot for this match, hoping Joe Hendry would win. Things fell apart when Trick Williams got bumped and knocked out of the ring. Another ref came out. Ethan Page tried to use the title belt to take out Joe Hendry to win. Trick stopped the other referee from counting. And Ethan Page went to deck him and hit the other ref. And while Trick was checking on him, he took Joe Hendry to Dick Kick City behind Trick's back and then hit him with the Ego's Edge. And Trick had to reluctantly count the 3 count as Ethan Page remains NXT champion. He rubbed it in Trick's face and making him have to raise his hand. But before the show went off the air, the bruiserweight Pete Dunne appeared and attacked Trick Williams and laid him out with the bitter end on the outside as Ethan Page looked on amused as he celebrated in the ring. So that's all that happened on the NXT No Mercy PLE event this weekend.
All right. I'm going to start off with the bad because there's a lot more good.
Yes.
On this. But I want to start off with a couple of things.
No.
One, I still don't buy Wendy Chu at all. I just don't buy it. I understand
they were trying. They were trying. But this match that was the weak point of the show. That match.
Kalani, you can still see the green, but
yes,
so it's tough when I can't buy her opponent and her in the ring is just not quite there yet.
Yeah.
And then the Tatum Paxley thing is like, I don't care. But the Tatum Paxley thing I liked at the end of NXT. That was cool.
Yeah.
So as far as just like character match, that was probably the one that I'm like, this just fell flat.
It was meh, but it wasn't like horrendous, but it wasn't very good. So it's kind of like it was like, I had a feeling that one might be the weak match of the show, but all the other matches were good to great. So
right. And as far as the great, but what the hell was that booking was the tag team match.
That surprised me. I was not expecting Nathan Frazier and Axiom to win the titles back so quickly, but I guess they felt they wanted to pull the trigger on him turning on Chase U.
But the thing is, you could have done that the time when they challenged. It's like I sacrifice for, and then Chase U take, and then Chase takes the pin.
It goes more into what he said in his explanation promo on Tuesday, where it's like it's the history of Chase U, where it's like it looks like they get the big one, and then it's like then they fall. It's like they can't. They sometimes either they can't get there or they get there and then they fall off.
Yeah,
so they can't stay on top.
But shout out to Nathan Frazier and Axiom for literally carrying all the tag divisions in WWE. because
Those
they are
two guys are killing it, man.
they are carrying it. They are just carrying it, and I can't
buy
buy them as a
breakup.
I don't buy them as a pair at all.
No, but they work really damn well as a tag team.
Oh, they work damn well as a tag team, but their backstage segment, I'm like, one is way over here, and one is the other opposite direction on the other side of the field.
Right.
Like they just do not. There's no good back and forth. Like it's just nothing there off out of the ring. But inside the ring, it's a unit, for sure. So
they're fun to watch.
Yeah, they're very fun to watch. Okay, where do you want to start with the great matches and great other things?
Okay, I kind of want to do the Roxanne, Jada, and Julia, and then go into the main event. So let's go to one of your favorite groups and people, the Rascals. I really liked how the Wesley Zachary Wentz match turned out because I like that it started slow and then they turned it up a notch.
Yes. And when they go, they go.
Yeah.
Now, I know some people get on them, and you know how big of a Rascals fan I am.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew Miguel was going to interfere, and we just didn't know where he was going to go.
Trey was going to show up.
Right. We knew Trey Miguel was going to show up. We just didn't know what he was going to do, and he did exactly what you figured. He was going to side with Zach because Wes attacked both of them. I think it would have been a little bit of overbooking if Trey just turned on Zach for no freaking reason because they have way more crap they needed. I think TNA was like, no, Trey, we still need those on our roster.
I don't think they was even part of the plan.
No. I was surprised that Wes took the pin, honestly, just because they have so much more bigger plans for him.
I was not because Zach won the X Division title on the two nights before.
When you shared that on our Discord page, join the Discord, it's link down below. When you shared that he won the X Division, I'm like, does that mean that he's gonna go over on Wes?
No, it's like, and they did right by TNA by not having their new X Division champion job out to in this match, and honestly, it's better that he did win because now, as we saw, he's going to get his payback because of how things turned out for Zach and Trey on Tuesday. We'll get into that in a little bit. So this is only the beginning of this feud.
It's crazy how good they both are. But number one, Wes, when he had that crazy off the rope, and he rotated so well that he had to land on his feet and then splash.
Yeah.
Like that, I was like, because I was like, it could have been smoother, but the dude landed on his feet and was like, oh crap, I got to actually go on. And he did. He basically landed on his toes. He was gonna land flat, and basically was able to be athletic enough to land on his toes and splash. It was a little off. I mean, I gotta call a spade a spade. It was a little off, but he was so athletic that he didn't over rotate, but he rotated a little bit too much to land on his feet, which is nuts. On that, but you knew this match with the chemistry they had and everything, and all the we alluding to at the beginning of the show, all the stuff that Zach went through and got through that, and to see him being put on a show, I just wish we had more Rascals, just the trio of them,
right?
To do more there because they were just so damn good. Who is going to beat Oba? That was a fun match, but who is going to beat Oba? I think as much as I'm a big Roxanne Perez.
Yeah,
it's going to be her title until she just leaves and takes it with her. I really think Oba's going to be that.
No, with what's happening with the women's division, that's not very likely. They could do that with Oba Femi. I don't see who. I don't have a clear idea who can take the North American title off him right now, because he's just killing it, and also feels like things between him and it looks like things between him and Tony V are not finished, so we might have a rematch after what happened on Tuesday. So we'll put a pin on that. But I really liked it. I thought it was a good house fight. Tony put up a good fight.
Once they finally got the cup off of Tony, it allowed Tony to be Tony.
Yeah, it's good that they wanted to give him a championship,
right?
Give him at least a singles championship after, because he already had the tag titles with Stacks, so it's like, so I get they going to give him that for a while. I'm glad it's gone back to Charlie Dempsey. It's like the no core catch, but it's fine. So yeah, no, I like this match. I was really happy with that. And oh man, did Roxanne and Jada Parker, did they deliver?
They delivered.
It's like if you had any, it's like you now for hopefully people who weren't high on Jada Parker are high on her now. Why people like us have been saying, Jada Parker's got some real potential. She got to show that off in this match.
And I liked how Roxanne did her spot as well. On like,
the whole mocking her, that was a great spot.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Roxanne is finally and I love how they've stuck with her. Let's see how she does as a heel. It was a little rocky with her promos at first, but now it's finally got there with her promo.
Absolutely.
To obviously her in-ring work is second by none.
Her in-ring work has always been fine.
All bias aside, there's a reason that Roxanne.
It was just how good can her heel promo work be? And it started a little rocky, but now she's really gotten into really comfortable in the heel role, and she's delivers good promos now.
Yeah, it started with Lola, and then it really started with the. We've got there.
Yep. Jada Parker's selling of the ribs during the whole match was fantastic. Mm-hmm. So it's like I had a feeling that was going to come into play. Really good stuff. I was really happy for her. She got to look really good. And then it happened. It's like this is what everyone's been waiting for. The first of the big arrivals has finally happened. It's like they've been mentioning both Julia and Stephanie McCurr for the last couple of weeks, on and off. They did a tease where during the interview where Jada Parker slapped the crap out of Roxanne Perez. That went, boy, did that go viral. Everyone was like, oh.
But who were they talking to?
Yeah. It's like Jada was talking to someone off screen, and it's like Roxanne had to look like, what the, oh my God, look on her face. So I'm like, okay, someone's showing up on Sunday. Who is it? It's like, it's got to be either Julia or Stephanie Becker, and it was Julia. And
I still think it was Cora.
My God.
I still think it was Cora in the back.
Some people thought it could be Cora. We'll get to Cora again because she's dropping some more teases. She might be back soon. Who knows? She's, but some people thought maybe, but I felt that it had to be one of the big signs. It's like it had to be either Julia or Stephanie Becker. And I'm glad it was. It's like I'm fine. It was Julia first. It's funny. Stephanie Becker put out a tweet that in Spanish that, when translated, was basically said that good things come to those who wait. She's basically saying, like, look, I know you guys are waiting for you to show up. Don't worry. It's like, it's going to be soon. I think they're just having some. It's taking a bit to iron out her visa. Once that's ironed out, she's going to show up.
Yeah.
But apparently the Julia is all good because, and dear God, dude, that entrance.
So for kids, the Sesame Street word of the year is aura. Guess who has it? Both of them. But Julia walks out and you're just like, yeah, you're a star.
Yeah, exactly. She, the way she carries herself, the entrance, the music, the smoke, screams star.
Yeah.
It's like, and you could feel it. And like you could hear the buzz in the arena. It's like, and people were pumped.
And you know who else was pumped? Roxanne. Because if you noticed, right when they finally went face to face, she held her title up. She broke a little bit. She just smiled because she knows, she's like, we're going to tear this place apart. They're going to remember this.
Yeah.
You know, and then she finally got to the,
it's like,
but she smiled there for a second.
She had a bit of a smile on her face, but then she went back to the scowl.
Yeah, she broke for a little bit because she's like, we're about to tear this place apart.
Yeah. It's like I could hear the announce Vic talking kind of drowned it out, but I could hear the Julia chants in the background. So it's like they knew, and it's like they were excited, and it's like I was just like, I'm like, that's how you do it. And then the reactions from everybody else. Let me share this because it's like I got it queued up from Twitter. Just take a moment here.
No, you're good.
I mean, look at this tweet from Bailey. Rock's making that title so special that the top in the world want a piece. I mean,
let me change this that way we can see a little bit clearer. There you go.
I knew you would love that if you didn't see that.
I mean, but Bailey's been hyping up Roxanne for a while now.
Oh yeah, she's been a Roxanne cheerleader for quite some time.
Yeah.
I mean, like Triple H said itself that she's a star, and it's like I just loved how she's like, I'm here to see you, Roxanne.
Yeah.
And I was like hanging out with HBK. HBK said, "Believe the hype." This one I also loved, dude.
She arrived, yeah. And
those if you don't know, those two have talked about they want to wrestle each other badly.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Io is like just going to be counting the days until Julia's on the main roster and they can face off, and it's going to be a banger. And like even Kairi Sane is excited.
I like how she put her little telescope in there too. With that.
I love Roxanne.
I've been waiting. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that made me really happy. It's like that whole exchange between the two of them. It's like, it's like I'm here. It's like I've been waiting.
Yeah.
And then we oh man, I have even more to say when we get to NXT proper. But I was like that was just a wait. It's like my friend James, who was watching the show with me, he didn't know much about Julia. I explained to her. I was like, it's like she's been New Japan Stardom. She's considered one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet. It's like I sent him a link to it's on YouTube, her New Japan Strong title match when she beat Willow Nightingale for the title. And because that's a great example of how good she is, that match. It's free on YouTube if you go check it out.
I think her and Kairi is also Kairi Sane way back when, a match between her.
Yeah. I think I haven't checked that out. Oh yeah, I think that's on YouTube somewhere.
Now, a couple of things for people who are still not familiar with Julia. Number one, we said it before. She was voted the second best female wrestler last year, right under Rhea Ripley.
By PWI, right behind Rhea Ripley.
Right behind Rhea Ripley. So PWI, every time we always look forward to those awards. Even WWE celebrates them. They always have pictures with people when they win PWI awards. Okay, so that just tells you the prestige that they have.
Yeah.
Number two, the one thing that you think NXT really wants to stick the rocket ship to her, which is understandable because you got to cash in when cash in is there. But they're just needed to get used to being on American TV, hit your hard cams, all the typical production stuff that a wrestler needs to learn.
Because people are like, why is she going right to the main roster? It's like,
and we said before, NXT now has gotten to the point, it's just another brand. Yes. The greener wrestlers are on the show, and it's a totally different ball game.
And there's nothing wrong with going to NXT to get your feet wet to how WWE works.
And then the other thing and I think the biggest learning curve for her, because she's great in the ring, and I don't think it's going to, I think more is the production side of it but the in-ring, she's very strong style. And they really don't want her to be fully strong style. They want her to bring that, but still.
And some people worry that they're going to tone her down too much. I think they're just going to have her rein in things in just a little bit, but you got to see some of it, when we talk about what happened on NXT, because she got to she laid someone out who got in her face.
She's the best though. The person she laid out still the best.
Let me put it this way: she hits like Gunther. She will hit you like Gunther, especially the knee strikes. Her knee strikes are like if it's like V trigger level, like
V trigger. Daniel Bryan's running knee. Sheamus's knee now.
Shayna's knee. It's like you thought Shayna's knee was nasty. It's like Julia's looks even more brutal when she does a knee strike. And also she's not afraid to get hardcore. She will pile drive you through a freaking table.
Yeah.
It's like I've seen a highlight reel. It's like she's like more than once she's pile drive someone through a table. So she's not afraid to get hardcore either. So it's like it's like for you people who have only heard about Julia and not seen her work, it's like get ready because it's like you're gonna be like you're gonna see what the hype is all about.
Yeah, you thought Asuka was good, you thought Io was good, Julia. I think she's the best of the three of them. From what I've seen, from what we've seen, she encompasses just what you want.
This is the beginning of a game changer. We've been talking about this for a while. Her, Stephanie Vaquer, and then potentially Delta, and maybe even Jordan Grace eventually if she decides to jump ship when her contract ends come January. It's like it's like the women's division in WWE is just like what it's like. It was already like really good. Now it just went up like several more notches. Now you got Julie, and it's going to go up even more. It's going to go up another couple notches when Stephanie McCurry finally shows up as well. It's like, and the NXT women's division is going to be nuts for the next several months.
That it will. Speaking about being nuts, that last match was fun too.
Oh yeah.
That being said, I want to bring this to you because it's so crazy how far Joe Hendry has gotten. It's kind of not really a short period of time, but just where he's at now, and as far as taking the internet by storm.
Mm-hmm.
When is the last time an independent? Because I still, even though TNA is TNA, I still would put Joe Hendry in the independent wrestler category at this point. When's the last time an independent wrestler has been this over?
Probably not since when CM Punk and Daniel Bryan came out of ROH in the Indies.
Okay. Samoa wasn't that big. Yeah, CM Punk and Daniel, definitely. I remember people talking about Bryan.
It's amazing how popular he is. It's wild seeing a non-WWE wrestler that this popular with WWE audience.
Yeah,
it's like that shows you how wide his appeal has gotten. It's like it's like doesn't matter that he is not a WWE wrestler. The fans think he's awesome.
Yeah.
This match was booked really well. The shenanigans I thought turned out really well. I thought I was surprised. I thought Pete Dunne was going to interfere during the match, but they saved him attacking Trick after the match because I think, and that ended up working well because him getting bumped and then the other ref coming in, that was enough shenanigans to open the door for Ethan Page to cheat the win, which I know he's going to pull something to, it's like the fans wanted it. It's like I was like, man, the fans really want it. It's like, but don't worry. It's like, if things go right in TNA, he's going to be the TNA champion in the near future. So
I don't know how, which I mean, I do.
And this may not be the last time we see him either. It's like Shawn Michaels. It's like, did you see the video where he was talking to Shawn Michaels after he came back into Gorilla?
Mm-hmm.
It's like he said, "Hey, just you say my name, I could show up on any show."
Right. Oh, dude, he said if they can carry on this, he's definitely gonna be in the Rumble.
I was about to say, it's like I will not be surprised if he's a guest. He makes a guest appearance at the Royal Rumble.
If we do watch along to that every time, it's like countdown to say it. Oh damn it, not yet. Say it. Oh damn it, not yet.
If the countdown clock at the Rumble goes down to 0 and you hear say his name and he appears, that place is gonna go nuts.
Nuts. Also, dude, this is the Ethan that we've kind of been talking about for a while. We were excited when he joined. We didn't think, and then him taking the title this quickly off a Trick, but him really just being the quote. I mean, he's so good. He's so good. I mean, all of his mannerisms are just natural. It doesn't feel forced. It's so just easy for him. It's just like, Tony, how did you fumble Ethan Page this bad? Everyone on the internet was screaming at you about Ethan Page and how good he is. And you just sat back and he collected a paycheck and you kept trying to put him in random faction after random faction and didn't let him do anything. The best thing he ever did was get hooked up with Scorpio Sky. That tag team was fun. I really liked them. But they still just, had them basically not book them worth the crap. But now, the one thing I will say is, even if Vince was there, because Ethan is that type of build, has that type of personality, but I just feel like he would still thrive even in a Vince booked WWE. I just feel like he's got what Vince looks for, other than being 7 foot tall.
Yeah.
But as far as personality wise and stuff, and you can tell he listens to direction, and all that. But the biggest thing was I was surprised Pete Dunne didn't come out and screw around with
during the match. Yeah,
during the match, and it was after. It ended the way we thought. Hendry was definitely going to take the pin. But if I need somebody to tell me when Joe Hendry's contract is up, because he's still, as far as we know, he's still being allowed to train at the Performance Center.
Mm-hmm.
They're still basically got other plans for Joe. You got to milk this cow.
Yeah, no, it's like this crossover is not ending anytime soon from what we're hearing. So it's like, especially with what's going on with the Rascals, we'll get that when we get to NXT. It's like, so
Yeah, and
it's
Rosemary still showing up.
and also Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace is going to be. Jordan Grace is going to be defending the Knockouts Championship on next week's this week's episode of NXT. On top of that, so it's like, and Rosemary's been showing up. Showed up again this week. She's been working with Wendy Chu. Those two actually kind of work well together, actually.
Well, I mean, if anyone's ever followed Rosemary's career, that's exactly what Wendy Chu needed. Because they used to do those crazy like vignettes and like this weird thing with the bunny. I forgot her actual full name. But back in the TNA days. And then Rosemary was also paired up with Joseph Parks, aka Abyss, way back when they were Decay. So, and I know Joseph Parks, as far as I know, is still a producer at WWE. So I'm pretty sure they probably had him come in and help, with probably, he was probably one to be like, hey, get Rosemary over here. She's going to work.
Yeah.
With that. So
overall, surprise tag title change. The NXT Women's and NXT Men's Championship matches were both really, really good. Julia arrived. Really, really good NXT PLE show.
I'll end it with this. I'll end our review of this show with this. The Wesley Zach Wentz match was what we were hoping for with the Usos match at WrestleMania.
Absolutely. That's well said there.
So that's because these are, if you don't think these are two brothers, you don't know the history of the Rascals.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're not by blood, but they're about as much of a blood brothers as you can possibly get between the three of them.
Yeah.
But this is the match that you would want. This is that Shawn Michaels, Triple H feud type stuff that you would want.
Yeah.
And that's what we were really hoping to get with the Usos, and it just sucked, which is disappointing. But all in all, NXT's delivering, and so did Bash Berlin, and so did AEW. So of the 3 pay-per-views we've gotten within a week, was great. On that. So let's move on to Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. All right, here's a recap of what happened on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw, the fallout from Bash in Berlin over the weekend. Show opened with Wade Barrett welcoming everyone and introducing newest member of the WWE broadcast team, ESPN's Joe Tessitore. He and Wade Barrett will be working Raw for next little while Cole moves to SmackDown to work with Corey Graves. Then we had Rhea Ripley coming out to cut a promo, wanting more of Liv Morgan and getting her rematch for the title. Dominic came out and said that she wasn't there, which was a live course. Liv tried to sneak attack. Two eventually were able to team up, tie her up on the ropes, and beat on her until Damian Priest made the save. Rhea Ripley was being checked up in medical, and Damian Priest vowed that he was going to get a match against Judgment Day to get some payback later tonight. Then we had a 6-person mixed tag as Alpha Academy took on the new American-made stable, formerly Diamond Mine, under tutelage of Chad Gable. Heels picked up the victory with Ivy now making Maxine tap out to Dragon Sleeper. Check out Pro afterwards, saying they're going to take out the White Sick. Challenge them to an 8 mixed tag street fight for next week. Uncle Howdy and the White Six came out and accepted. Zelina Vega took on Shayna Baszler as payback for getting written out by injury recently. Thanks to some distractions by the rest of Pure Fusion Collective ringside, Shayna was able to hit a knee strike and pin Zelina for the victory. Pure Fusion Collective did a beatdown on Zelina afterwards. Lyra Valkyria came out, tried to make the save, but the numbers game was too much for them and they got laid out. Then CM Punk came out to cut a promo, said that he's done with Drew McIntyre. He beat him, got the bracelet back, and now he wants to challenge Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Said he's coming for him. But while he was celebrating on top of the announce desk, Drew McIntyre launched a massive sneak attack, laid Punk out. Wade Barrett tried to talk sense to them, but Drew wouldn't listen. Hit multiple claymores. officials tried to stop him. He took the bracelet off of Punk, but instead of keeping it, he destroyed it and then hit him with another Claymore with Punk spitting up blood and getting taken out in a stretcher. When they came back from commercial, they showed that McIntyre attacked Punk again before he could get loaded into the ambulance, with Adam Pearce and everyone having to pull him off. Then we had a triple threat in the No. 1 Contenders tournament for the Intercontinental title. Dominic Mysterio versus Ilya Dragunov and Dragon Lee. Dominic was in this match very long because Damian Priest came out to first take care of Carlito, who was out trying to help Dominic cheat, and then chase Dominic away out of the the ringside area, leaving just Ilya Dragunov, Dragon Lee, and Dragunov hit Torpedo Moscow to pick out the victory and move on to the Fatal 4-Way next week. Bronson Reed came down with COVID and would not be in the other No. 1 Contender match. Braun Strowman came in and convinced Adam Pearce that he was medically cleared and could take his place, and he was given his spot. Another No. 1 Contender match was Alba Fire and Isla Dawn taking on Damage Control. Winner would get a tag title shot against Bianca and Jade. The former champs beat Damage Control, picking up the victory, and it looks like we're getting a rubber match between the two teams. Then Gunther came out for Chad, cut a promo about going about his victory, beating over Randy Orton. Out came Sami Zayn, returning back finally. He wants a shot against Gunther World title. Gunther said no, but Sami says that surprised him, and maybe it's because Sami's one of the few people who's ever beaten him in the ring, and that maybe he's a little afraid of him. Then Jey talked about being ready for the No. 1 Contender match next week, but then Braun Breaker came up and they had words. And so Braun Strowman taking Bronson Reed's place against Sheamus and Louis Kaiser. Winner would get the final spot in the Fatal 4-Way next week. Strowman picked up the victory after power slamming Kaiser. Pete Dunne came out and laid out Sheamus with a shillelagh, taking him out of the match. Pete Dunne says that he was sending a message to him, and don't call him Butch. And so Rhea revealed that she got Jey Uso to team with Damian, take on Judgment Day, Finn Balor, JD McDonough in the main event. Thanks to some help with Rhea on the outside, the Bayface were able to pick up the victory to close out the show. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of Monday Night Raw.
Man, you really like how they're burying Judgment Day? Can they get something?
I think they will. It's.
Let's take our tag team champs who haven't defended their titles ever,
Right.
still have interference, and then lose to two guys who have never tag team and don't like and supposedly never liked each other to begin with.
I think it'll turn around.
That being said, Rhea, Damian, and Jay could make the WWE a lot of money.
Yeah, that could be a fun trio.
Yeah. Shout out to Maxine Dupree for the little time that she got. I was like, wow, this is a lot different.
Dude, that's the best she's ever looked in the ring. I'm not gonna lie.
Her kip up with the way she landed and then slowly stood up, and then
she's actually getting better. I'm shocked.
Yeah, she is getting a lot better. So that stuck out to me. Also too, Otis, you're over enough. You don't have to still wear the free Otis shirt unless it's still selling. You're free, dude.
I guess, yeah, unless it's just so much. Dude, I was so bummed Bronson Reed got COVID. I was like, no. He's killing it. And
he's killing it.
But this is going to add more fuel to the fire because it's like Braun of all people takes his spot in the match and wins it. And he was not happy on X. He was like, what the F? He's pissed. So if he is recovered from COVID, he's going to show up next week and waylay Braun out of that match.
Yeah. And speaking about how getting better in the ring, especially as a monster, and how to book a monster, the Braun Strowman booking, I think, since he's come back, has been very well done to where he still is a threat. but you still book him to where he can work a match with anyone, and it doesn't feel forced.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can buy into his selling, right? Because that was a problem that they had forever, is how to book a monster. And typically it's like 17 squash matches against, indie dudes. And then, for example, Kane. It's like thankfully he finally got to the point, and Glenn Jacobs was good enough to sell correctly. And Undertaker was obviously one of the GOATs. But, how they would and they almost, and like stuff like that, just like, or the Great Khali, just like all those monsters. And then they were doing Braun Strowman the same way. Now you can just, even if he's a mid-carder, you can still, every time that Braun hits, it's gonna pop. You're gonna want to see it, and if he loses, no big deal.
Yeah.
That's a made dude to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then shout out to them just letting both dragons just have their fun.
Yeah.
In the ring, and just like chase Dominic off.
Yeah, let's Dominic's supposed to match, but we're gonna get rid of him and just let Dragon Lee and Ilya Dragunov cook for a little bit on their own.
Yeah, and someone did point out online, they were like, "All right, let's look at the side by side of the three guys warming up. Dragon Lee doing little pump ups, Ilya jump rope, Dominic pouring water on his head to make sure the mullet looks good." It's like, I was like, "Yep." So I just always thought that was good. The pure. Sorry, I fell asleep. They're trying. It just doesn't work.
It's not working right now.
They need something. They need
something to make me buy them as a threat. And also, since they're going to be in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, the Lyra solution is going to be Natty. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, great. Now I did give crap to the tag division as a whole, men and women, for the main roster stuff. I will say though, this Damage Control and Holy Union match was fun.
It was.
I enjoyed the hell out of it.
And boy, man, it's like that Kyrie Ranger looked scary, but thankfully she's okay, because like
Bianca saved her from getting it worse. If you noticed,
it was just like she got to hit to get a couple stitches. That's it. It looked gnarly because the blood was going into her eye.
Right, so and the way she just like rubbed it during the stare down, she like sold it.
That's why I love Kyrie Sane.
Yeah, I'm just like, Kyrie just can't buy and not getting just cut and all the Nia stuff back in the day. But this was, I was like, oh, for the first time I'm like, yeah, Unholy Union is finally getting to the
other problem I had was that like Damage Control was heels for so long, and now they're de facto baby faces because of who they're dealing with. It's like it's odd. It's like
but I did like the stare down at the end with Jade, with the Power Buff Girls, and Damage Control, and people are like, so is Unholy Union just won the match? Does that and all that?
I think they're teasing. I think they're probably teasing me that if like Damage Control may get next, which I'm fine with.
Yeah, I'm fine with there.
You and Kyrie are awesome. Two of my favorite ladies ever.
All right, I'm trying to save the Punk stuff. Do you?
Oh, let's talk about Joe Tessitore. I thought Joe Tessitore was really good.
Yeah. I thought he was great. Like I told you, I really like Tess. When they hired him, I was like, because he did some interviews.
I could tell that he is a fan. He knows wrestling. He knows his stuff. He missed like one or two moves. That's fine. It's like he's gonna get the lexicon down. Like he didn't call. That was Torpedo Moscow, but he didn't call it right. So it's like, no. That's like, I'm not gonna hold that against him. And also, I think pairing him with Wade was a good idea. I felt that him and Wade had good chemistry.
Mm-hmm. And I was getting ready to say, shout out to Wade, because towards the end, I could tell that Joe was getting a little tired because he's not used to a 3-hour show of just keeping that energy.
Yeah.
The online people are mainly praising him. I think it's way more on the pro than the con.
Yeah, I think people are overall pretty happy with his first show.
Yeah, and then also like it was kind of funny like seeing some of the other reactions online to him of they don't even like some people, because they don't know the sports world, that he calls like boxing, football, everything. And that as soon as his voice came on, like a couple of people were like, damn, I didn't realize he sounded like that. All right. And they were kind of already bought in just based on his announcing and how he does. But shout out to Wade Barrett, because there's a couple of times that Wade would just like, I'm going to get you there and just stick with me.
Yeah.
and I think that's where the discussion they had was just like, there might be a couple of times I might need you. I mean, yeah, he's still it's first show, and they basically told him to swim on a 3-hour Raw.
Yeah.
And I did like the whole like when Drew came out and tripped CM Punk. We'll get into the whole segment itself, but as far as Tessitore, I did like he goes, "Oh my God, that's Drew McIntyre!" Before he threw.
Yeah, that was great. I love that he did that, and also the way he called that whole confrontation was great. Where he's like, "Someone get him off of it." It's like
Right.
it's like he was afraid for CM Punk's well-being.
Yeah,
Like,
and so that he did his job. He sold that.
He sold that. He sold that was some of his best work was during the Punk McIntyre confrontation.
For sure.
Which I thought was the highlight of one of the highlights of the show for me, if not the highlight.
Yeah. The Sammy Gunther stuff. This is the subtle stuff that that I really love.
Yep.
Sammy came out because we were like, because for some reason, like Sammy just went away because I thought it was going to be, the Sammy J going out to the tag titles and then just
they were teasing that. I don't know if they pivoted or they're just delaying that. I don't know because I think it's like if it's not obvious that Jey Uso is going to win the number one contender match next week and to get fed to Braun, they've telegraphed it with not one but two backstage confrontations between the two of them, and bring up the history between their families. It's like when the Steiners were in WWE, it's like they went to war with the Head Triggers, aka Sabu Fatu, who is Jay's dad.
That last promo, last confrontation, I was like, dude, Braun's just so good. That little promo work and stuff like that, he was just like, I'm gonna give you a chance, and if you don't back out, you're in a world of hurt type of thing. Yeah. But that, I mean, just the way he was, and then Jay was good with coming back at him. So it's just Braun's.
I like that he brought up the history, the family history, like between his father and his uncle, and his father and his. I think Samu's. It's like I don't. It's like it's like I thought that was a nice little tie-in to like it's like I thought it was a nice touch.
Yes,
but yeah, no, he's clearly going to get that title shot.
Right. But anyway, going back to Sammy, that was a great conversation. I'm like, yeah, this makes 1,000% on why this would be Gunther's next opponent. Because now this isn't the first person to pin Gunther, even though that's what Sammy was like presenting. I was like, honestly, the last person to pin Gunther since Sammy was.
There's only two. It's like I didn't like that they said that they had Sammy say he's the only person who's beaten Gunther. No, that's not correct.
Baron Corbin was the last one.
There's only two people who have defeated Gunther in the ring during his entire WWE run, both NXT and main roster. Ilya dethroned him to win the NXT UK Championship, and Sammy beat him for the Intercontinental title. That's it.
I thought Baron Corbin pinned him at one point.
No.
Okay.
He didn't pin him.
I thought he did.
Chad had a victory of him by count out, but he didn't pin him. He's like, okay. So that doesn't really count. And I'm talking about like pin or submission. Ilya made him tap out when he beat him, which was even more wild. So it's like that irked me. I was like, no, Ilya has beaten Gunther.
Right.
It's like you're not the only one who's beaten Gunther clean in the ring.
Right. But I did
like that he brought up. He's like, it's like, are you afraid because I can beat you? And I was like that because I knew they were going to pull that out. I was like, because like I saw this comment like a while ago. It's like I was thinking about this all the way back in WrestleMania. I was like, okay, he beats him for the WrestleMania, takes the Intercontinental title off of him. Then Gunther's going to move on. He's going to become World Heavyweight Champion. And then when he's World Heavyweight Champion, Sammy's going to come calling and be like, yo, I beat you when nobody thought you could be beaten as Intercontinental Champion. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to take the world title from you.
Exactly. Plus, I did like, and again, with this new world of Triple H booking, they say the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
That's a stepping stone title.
It is. I love that he brought that up. It's like, because like, that's true. That was before, for the longest time, before the Intercontinental got went into like purgatory in the mid to 2000s here. It was the stepping stone to the world title. It's like some of the bit, not everyone, but so the people who were really good got an IC title run before they became WWE champion. And he listed some of the best ones, Macho Man, Brett, Shawn, Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, Warrior.
Surprised he didn't mention the Miz, man.
Oh,
It
man,
happened, technically. I mean,
Jericho,
technically.
Jericho as well.
Jericho, yeah. So, I mean, there's a long list, but yeah. And I was just like, the Miz technically did that.
Yep.
But there's the Miz, and he's great at what he does, but he's not like Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, all that. But I like the way he said that. But also the subtle thing, and I was listening to a couple people, and they kind of pointed this out. I'm like, damn, you're right. Is when Sammy said, "I'm the only one that's beaten you," and Gunther had that, you piece of crap, you brought that up. Like, you tell it irked him, and as he turns,
you could tell.
He stops, and then he finally leans his head up.
Yeah.
He's pissed, and then as he's turning, he starts smiling.
Like,
I'm not going to show you that got.
Yeah. No, he made sure that his back was turned to Sammy, and he had to
right
look on his face.
I'm just like, yep, those little things that.
Yeah, that's why Gunther is so good. That's why I love him. So it plus he's not going to be at the top fight. It's okay. It's like Gunther can get his payback. It's like, and then they can have a rubber match later on. And if Sammy ends up beating him for the title, I'll be beyond happy.
Yeah, but I like how this is how two professionals.
Yep.
Going on to our last segment here of the best segment of the show. This is how two professionals, when a feud starts to cool a little bit, I got an idea. Let's ramp it up to 1,000 again. And they did that with this segment. Punk made a great promo saying he's coming for Gunther. That was what all the internet saying. Not to say he still won't at some point.
Yeah. That's for later. That was a seed planted for. Eventually Punk is going to face Gunther for the title, but he's got to deal. The McIntyre feud has to be finished first.
Right. And as soon as he's still on that table, I said, "Here it comes. Where's he at?"
Yeah, I was waiting for it. I was waiting for something. I was like, where's Drew? Where is he? And then I was like, oh, here we go. And,
because this is the book. This is the bookend of the feud. Because remember, that's the same move that Punk did to Drew to cost him the world championship.
Like the little touches are what makes this so good, like that, like you pointed out. And then everyone on the internet rejoiced when he took the bracelet and destroyed the bracelet. I was like, as soon as that happened, I went, now it's Hell in the Cell time.
Yeah, and GIF, no more bracelet, finally, in our Discord, which you can still join down below.
Destroying the bracelet, that's going to be the final straw. Now Punk will want him inside the cell. Yeah, for destroying the bracelet.
But yeah, and then them still like
he sent him to the hospital. I love that. It's like JD from New York, who I enjoy watching, pointed out the synergy. Punk screwed McIntyre out of winning the World Heavyweight Championship 3 times. Mania, Money in the Bank, and Clash in the Castle. He's now put Punk in the hospital 3 times. The legit injury from the Rumble, when he laid him out in Chicago after Clash in the Castle, when he did the referee screw job on him, and now this is number 3. He sent him to the hospital again.
Yeah, and I did like this from Drew. Let me bring it up. Is his because the girl that made it said, "Thank you, CM Punk, 12-year-old me, 24 me," and he goes, "His blood is on your hands." Yeah,
that's why he's all. I love.
Yeah, and of course his profile picture is a.
Why do you think I got his shirt on tonight? It was just so good. It's like I'm like, so now they're gonna have Punk take like a week or 2 off. He's gonna come back when Drew least expects it, and then it's like. It's Punk is going to be like, you, me, Hell in a Cell. Let's fucking go.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is what we knew was probably going to happen. I mean, after that reporter, and he was just like, no offense, but if you're a booker, that sucks. Like, it's just because, and they made a strap match fun because the whole 4 corner thing is kind of corny to me. Especially when you're like, it's like the PG version of a dog collar match.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's like Drew when he thought that he had it's like, oh, Punk's gone. He's not gonna. It's like everything's fine. Punk's not gonna. I'm done with him. He made the same mistake because he thought he beat Drew. He got the bracelet back. It's like it's done. No, it's like he's not done. It's like he's not gonna let this go. It's like Punk made the mistake of thinking that McIntyre was just gonna thinking that Punk that he was gonna move on now. No.
Yeah.
The hate is strong.
Yeah. Yes. So it's just so good. I mean, like I said, this was cool. We were talking about it. I mean, Giff brought it up, and Jeremy brought it up too in our chats, and it's just we're like, it's starting to kind of cool. They're starting to kind of like they're just kind of They're kind of like trying to get to the point, which is how sometimes Raws are, and we just have to realize this is kind of how Triple H books. Sometimes it's going to be just a couple of throwaway episodes, like as filler episodes. As basically these are. Triple H does filler episodes. He just does. They're going to come out. They're going to make their money, but they're probably going to say the same crap without really moving the story forward. But then when you get to those climactic moments that make you want to buy in some more, this is what that long-term booking can really do. Is like, just when you thought I was out, you brought me back in from the strap match to now. Because leading up to that strap match, where it was like, can we just get over... Can we just move on or something? We thought we did. Then they brought us back. So they teased us a little bit.
Yep.
Just great stuff. Great
Awesome.
stuff there. But moving on to the next show, and I will say, some people would think CM Punk and Drew McIntyre is the feud of the year. There's a feud on AEW that lit a fire.
Yeah, there's a feud in AEW that just went to the Punk McIntyre level after what happened.
They lit a fire literally under that theory.
Yeah. Let's get to it.
Yep.
All right, here's a recap I have on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. Show opened with Daniel Garcia cut a promo on MJF. MJF appeared up in the crowd. Words were exchanged. Garcia went to attack MJF, and MJF ended up laying him out, busting him open, and relishing in the blood. Then we had Okada defending the Continental title against Kyle Fletcher. Okada picked up the victory with the Rainmaker. Before he could do any more damage to Fletcher, Takeshita returned to protect his stablemate. He also announced that there would be qualifying matches, and the winners would face Okada in a fatal four-way for the title at the All-Out pay-per-view this weekend on Saturday night. Footage was shown of Swerve Strickland announcing that he had bought back his childhood home to save it from destruction. More on that later. Jamie Hayter took on Robin Renegade. Jamie Hayter picked up the victory easily. Roderick Strong complained to Chris O'Daniels about his foot being on the ropes and losing to Hook over the weekend. Hook came in and said that he was right and offered him an FTW title shot. Strong said that he'll choose the place and time for that. Jon Moxley arrived with Marina Shafir again. She beat up some security goons. Gave a Jack Perry compliment, much to surprise the Young Bucks. Came out and called out Darby Allin, saying that he wants to talk to him and that he better show up soon because he's not an impatient man, but the clock is ticking. Chris Jericho vowed to get payback on Orange Cassidy for ruining his jacket several years ago on Dynamite. And Brian Keith will take it on a match, and Orange Cassidy said if he loses, he'll give him the $7,000 back for the jacket destruction. Mariah May defended the AEW Women's Championship against Nyla Rose. Easily picked a victory with Storm Zero. Mercedes Moné and Camille came out bragging about her being a double champion and that she's going to take care of Shida at the pay-per-view. Shida came on and had a surprise for her as Chris Daniels appeared and said that Camille was banned from ringside for the title match between Mercedes and Shida at the pay-per-view, much to Moné's disgust. Then we had a 6-man tag. Blackpool Combat Club and Pac, the Trios champions, took on Will Ospreay, Orange Cassidy, and Kyle O'Reilly. The Trios champions took the victory after taking O'Reilly with a swing and dropkick combo from Claudio and Wheeler Yuta. Bryan Danielson was on commentary and went down to celebrate with his Blackpool Combat Club mates, but they were jumped by the Elite. They were able to fight back, and the heels retreated. In the back, Pac brain busted Will Ospreay a bunch of crates to build toward their title match at the pay-per-view. And then the main event segment, contract signed between Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page for their cage match at the pay-per-view. Hangman didn't show up, but then all of a sudden he appeared on the Tron showing that he was at Swerve's childhood home. Cut a promo saying he was going to destroy and take everything from him at the pay-per-view where he'll be begging for mercy. He's going to end his career. Awesome stuff. Then he doused gasoline all over the place, and then he set the house on fire and sat out front in a chair and watched it burn as Swerve lost it completely. In an amazing segment to close out this episode of AEW Dynamite, the go-home show toward the pay-per-view this weekend.
This is how you do a go-home show, Triple H.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have to call a spade a spade. This is how you do a go-home show. This is how you sell a pay-per-view in 2 weeks. This is how you do it. Like, I gotta give Tony his props. We give a lot of crap to AEW because we want them to work. We're like every other wrestling show out there, other than the people who are just for tribalism crap for no reason. This is how you sell a show. Like I'm so in.
Yeah, this feud was already really amazing since last year, but him burning the house down took it to Drew McIntyre Punk level of like, this is blood feud now. It's you didn't think it was blood feud, now it is now. And I'm disappointing myself that I didn't think of this when they did because they announced it early in the day. It's like it's like I saw some people are like, gee, wouldn't it be something if you burn the house down? Nah, they wouldn't do that. They did. No,
the meme. You remember that meme of like the girls like smiling like devilishly with the house burning in the background? They were somebody was already quick on making that meme and putting Hangman's face on it like before the show, and then I was like, oh my god, the son of a bitch did it. With that, now I will say this: I was leaving it for that. Mariah May was on Mostly Sports in the morning. They had Tony Khan because they came in to do some interviews with Barstool's Wrastlin. With Tony Khan, Orange Cassidy, and also shout out Orange Cassidy if you can go look. He made it. There's a chef over there, Barstool, and he always does a segment of like what's for lunch with a celebrity or something. They made orange chicken with Orange Cassidy, where they both kind of cooked it. So go check that out. But this was Mariah May just stopped in, and they were just shooting the breeze with Mariah May. I posted it on our Discord, but I want to show it for the rest of the peoples. Let me know if this has no audio, but I thought this was hilarious. And if you didn't think Mariah May had star power, just watch this. Can you hear it?
No.
Okay. I will redo that, ladies and gentlemen. So let me reshare that. Hold on. I can stop my screen. Here we go. I'm just going to talk to you as I do the production. That's how we do it sometimes. All right. There we go. We'll go back.
I feel like I have mommy issues. Sure. I have a real issue with like women in my life.
Me too.
Connor, you're blushing.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
You're red.
I have a naturally red complexion.
You're as red as I've ever seen.
No, I'm not. I'm not
Look
blushing.
how red he is.
I'm not blushing.
Mariah,
So
why,
red.
you're right there. He's red, right?
Yeah, why are you blushing?
But you also like, you don't know me, and this
Connor,
is
look
typically how I am.
her in the eye and tell her you're
Yeah,
not
why are you
blushing.
making
Just stare.
Why are you
make eye
leaning so far back?
Well, 'cause I'm trying.
Why are you leaning so far back?
Because I'm trying to talk into the mic while still look at her. I don't know what to say. I'm overstimulated right now. I don't know. I don't know what to do. But I do have
I don't know if you know this. I feel like
I just thought that was hilarious. He just finally just admitted, I'm overstimulated right now. I was like, I just lost it.
Speaking
but
of
yeah.
yours, fairly Bishop, shout out to everyone should check out the interview Renee Paquette did with Jamie Hayter. That's on their YouTube channel. She revealed how nasty the injury was, why she was out for so long. 2 herniated discs, and she was in pain, constant pain.
Mm-hmm.
Like even laying down, she was in pain.
Yeah,
she could barely walk. So she was able to get physical therapy to treat it, and was able to recover without surgery, which is crazy. But usually, you got to get surgery to fix something like that. So the fact she was able to recover from that without needing surgery, that's a miracle.
Yeah. Now, going into, I guess we can go into Jamie Hayter. I'm surprised it wasn't more of a squash.
Yeah, I thought it would. It's like she got a little bit more offense against Jamie than I thought, but I'm glad that it's like they're building toward her getting her hands on Saraya. It's going to happen.
Yeah. And I thought the Marame, Nyla, why can't you use Nyla some more? She's so good.
Yeah, and I wish she wasn't just use just to be
right.
Just a job. Like
again, this is the booking that I'm beating a dead horse here.
Yeah.
Just give us a reason why it's a title match and why they're facing each other, not just hey, she's strong, do it.
Yeah, it's like build toward a title match, just make a title match just because you want to have a title match.
Build or do a Mariah and do a I've already handled my business with Tony. Now I'm going to do an open challenge, and then Nyla comes out.
Like Roddy getting all pissed off about he tapped out but his foot was on the ropes. That's going to lead to him challenging Hook to another match. That's how you should do it. It's like
that's how you should do it. Just give us a reason why it's happening. That's all we ask. And if you think that we need a lot to do it, no, we don't. We talked about that between how storyline and in-ring work are correlated, but you need some type of story for us to buy into the match.
Yep.
Something.
That MGF Garcia exchange was really good. That's some of the best mic work I've seen Daniel Garcia do yet.
I've never heard Daniel Garcia that good on the mic.
Yeah, he's gotten a lot better.
Yeah. Have they officially said he's re-signed?
I don't think it's official yet. I'm hearing word that he re-signed, but I don't know if it's official yet.
I'm pretty. You wouldn't have this. You wouldn't bring him back because him getting destroyed by MJF was supposed to write him off while they were doing their contract negotiations. So the fact that he came back, it's kind of the same thing with Ricochet and how they wrote him off of WWE. Was you could still bring him if things fall through with AEW, you could still bring him back and have a blood feud with that, but that obviously didn't happen. But yeah, I really like and bringing up the hair transplants and stuff like that. It was great stuff by Daniel, because that was the one thing is like I get Daniel, but I can't buy him. Now I'm starting to buy him as a legit top level guy.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Kyle Fletcher and Okada can just wrestle forever.
They do think so.
And Fletcher's getting better. He's still green. Okada,
green, but it's like he's good. But he keeps getting better.
Yeah, and Okada is just so natural to him.
Yeah,
and you can just tell he's having the time of his life.
Yeah, you can enjoy it. He enjoys being the dick shit heel.
Yeah, because he did.
Speaking of Okada, I loved the reference Sheeta made toward Mercedes with the sayonara bitch.
Yeah. And then someone posted or whatever like a fatal 4-way, and it had Okada and then 3 random like just silhouettes, and it just said bitch just on there. I thought that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll say this. As much as you want to give grief to AEW, they know how to put on 6-man tags.
Yeah.
It's just
that 6-man tag was excellent.
A 6-man tag was excellent. What are we doing with Moxley?
They can't. They better have Darby show up next week after the pay-per-view, because I don't want this to drag out too much longer, else I'm going to lose interest. Like, don't drag this out for too long.
No, I
want to see the confrontation, because that's where we're going to get a better idea of where this is going when him and Darby have a chit chat.
Yeah, and then did I miss something where him and Chauffeur were together?
No, it just happened. It started last week. She came out of nowhere and like is acting like his muscle and just beating the fuck out of people.
I mean, she can't mic work for crap. So
no,
and she's definitely a muscle, that's for sure.
Yep. I guess he's not part of the Blackpool Combat Club anymore. Although it would. See, this is what annoys me. It's like you should make some kind of reference that it's like we're like we don't know what's going on with Moxley. It's like he's not talking to us right now.
Yeah, that's the one thing about AEW is they're doing that Vince McMahon thing of just like you think they act like we're dumb. Like you've got to make the stories make sense, and you got to call back to the past.
Right.
Of some sort. You just have to do it, and they just didn't. Let's see. Anything else before we move on to the?
No, this was a really good episode of Dynamite, and like just the closing angle of him burning the house down was just like chef's kiss. It's like that was so well done.
Mm-hmm.
That
was so.
There, apparently. They didn't air it, but after the show went off the air, Tony told the live audience that he was making the steel cage match lights out unsanctioned on top of it. So basically, everything there it's no holds barred.
Mm-hmm. Shot of the year. That's the shot of the year.
Yeah, that right there. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. So, and then plus on his press call today, he basically said that he basically had to help to not make sure that Swerve didn't press arson charges so they could have their match. So it's like, okay, all right, Tony, whatever you want to say.
Keep going. That's your choice, Tony.
Yeah. But is it the first? I mean, Swerve broke into I forget which his feud.
This is the first time wrestlers burned down a building.
Yeah. Hey, remember that Randy Orton thing? That didn't go over as well as this. This was.
I wasn't around the time, but I've heard that the him burning down the shack during his feud with Bray Wyatt was not had a lot of mixed reaction to that.
Yeah, but
I've seen the beam of it. It's like where he's doing the pose while it's burning. It's like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and there's a side by side. There's a side by side shot of Hangman and Swerve doing a stare down, and then The Rock and Stone Cold doing a stare down. I'm like, I can't buy into that yet.
It's not that low.
It's not that over. But I like where your head's at.
Yeah.
And just this is like I mean, just they're knocking this out of the park. It's just from their feud, and you'd have never told me in a million years.
Like that feud was right out like months ago, and this is like the perfect way to like, no pun intended, pour gasoline on it and reignite it. That's exactly what they did with that house burning.
Yeah,
boy, they had to go through probably like a lot of things to get permission to burn a house like that.
Yeah, there's no telling how many fire trucks were.
Yeah, I was thinking, how many fire trucks were off screen behind the camera, ready to go once they stopped filming, to put that out.
Yeah. There's no telling, but this is how you build. This is how you take advantage of your stars.
Yep.
And let them do their shit.
Yep.
And then you just immediately go from Swerve having one of the best matches of his life to go right back into the blood feud that we've wanted forever without overstepping and overbooking and doing everything. Hangman came out just enough to not screw over the match and have it a clean finish and everything like that, but just let the audience know that, hey, I'm not done with you, which he's been doing the whole time.
Yeah, like you said, he goes, I would have enjoyed taking the title from you, but I'm more than happy enough to be there to watch it slip through your fingers.
Yeah. And it kind of went back to, when they first feuded, Hangman was the face and Swerve was the heel. And then you slowly got the switch, and now we're here. Yep. And it's still the same feud. It's the feud never stopped. It just was on pause because Hangman went and healed and all that other stuff.
Yeah, because Hangman took time off for his wife being pregnant.
Right. So, and then he comes back, and I loved it's just this feud is just the feud of the year. Like it's CM Punk and CM Punk and Drew will probably win it.
Punk and McIntyre is still number one for me. This probably went up right up to being behind the number two because there is no pause. There has been no pause for Punk McIntyre. Their feud has been ongoing from the Rumble to leading heading toward Bad Blood.
Right.
And that's
longevity
going to be 10 months. I'm not saying that it's not like that inferior, but it's just because of there was that break before they just reignited it within the last couple weeks. I'm still giving the edge to Punk McIntyre because it's been sustained for a long time throughout the year.
Yeah. So, but yeah, these two are definitely, those two feuds are 1 and 2.
Yeah,
for sure. With that. All right. Anything else? And we can move on to another fire episode of NXT.
Yeah, I'm glad we're saving NXT for last because, oh man, this CW debut.
It's going to be fun.
Yep.
From Chicago.
All right, here's a recap what happened on this week's episode of NXT. Fallout from No Mercy on Sunday night. We open with a number 1 contender match. Winners would face Axiom Nathan Frazier for the NXT Tag Team titles. The Rascals from TNA taking on Gallus and Hank and Tank. Things got crazy when Javon came out to attack Joe Coffey for payback. And when the referee was struck by that, the Good Brothers came out to lay out Hank and Tank as payback for losing to them last week. And the Rascals took advantage of that to pin Hank and Tank and earn the title shot. Then we had a conversation between Axiom Frazier and the Rascals in the back, setting up the match next week. Trick Williams and Pete Dunne got to a fight in the locker room and had to be separated by Ava and officials. Then we had Ora Mensah taking on Lex King. Lex King picked up the victory, but it feels like that feud is not over yet. The D'Angelo family got into it with Open Family in the back. Tony D'Angelo didn't like how he was talking to Rizzo, so Stacks was going to take him on in a non-title match later in the show. Gallus is tired of Javon Evans and vowed to do something about it. That led to setting up a match between Javon and Joe Coffey later in the show. Tatum Paxley took on former TNA Knockouts Women's Champion Rosemary, allied with Wendy Chu. Paxley was able to pick up the victory. Afterwards, the heels attacked. Paxley tried to hurt her, but Lyra Valkyria, of all people, returning from Raw, came to make the save and help her former friend, and the two reunited. Pete Dunne, Trick Williams continued to get at it in the back. Ava had enough of it, and even though it was supposed to be the main event, she said that the match was going to happen now. And just before they went to the match, Jordan Grace came on and did a video saying that she was going to come to NXT next week and have an open challenge for anyone to take her on for the TNA Knockouts Championship next week on NXT. So Trick Williams and Pete Dunne match. This is a wild match. They fought out onto the floor and both went through the announcer's table and ended up getting a double countout. And they continued to fight after the match was over. Ridge Holland cut a promo explaining why he turned on Chase U, saying he did everything for them to lift them up, but in the end, he was tired of their mediocrity and not able to sustain being winners, and said he plans to take care of Chase U, and that set up a match between him and Duke Hudson for next week. Joe Coffey took on Javon Evans. Javon got the win back from last time, picking up the victory in a short match, thanks to some help from Cedric Alexander. Lava Carey told Tatum Paxley that she was here to help her and that they were friends again. Ava announced that after what happened, she was going to have Pete Dunne and Trick Williams fight in a last man standing match next week, with the winner facing Ethan Page for the NXT Championship on the CW debut show in a few weeks. Obafemi took on Stacks. No surprise, Stacks went down with Obafemi looking strong. John Evans went up to Rance Claire and convinced her to give him a shot against the Heritage Cup next week. Charlie Dempsey wasn't thrilled about it, but is nothing he could do about it. After getting to the back with Fatal Influence, Jada Parker took on Jasmine Nix of Fatal Influence. Jada picked up the victory. but Fatal Influence laid out and attacked Jada afterwards. Then we got to the main event segment. Roxanne Perez came out, cut a promo bragging about her victory. Doesn't care. She said Jada is good, but she's at the top. Doesn't matter if you're who you are, even if you're the hottest prospect coming from Japan, aka Julia. No one's going to be taking the title from her. Lights went out. Everyone thought it was Julia, but it turned out to be Chelsea Green, of all people, coming in, saying that she wants to challenge Roxanne and be number one contender for the women's title. And while she was jaw-jacking with Roxanne, the lights went out again, and this time Julia arrived. Looking amazing. Fans went nuts. Chelsea Green went to attack Julia. Julia laid her out with a knee strike, picked up her microphone, and just said 3 words to Roxanne. Me, you, CW. Throwing down the gauntlet, challenging Roxanne to a title match on the CW debut episode. And it is on. And the two had another stare down to close out the show. So that's all that happened on this week's episode of NXT.
All right, before we get into this great show, who do you think is going to answer Jordan Grace?
That's a good question. There's a lot of candidates.
My hope, just because I think she's earned it, is Thea Hale.
I would like that.
I don't think it's going to happen because of all the crap's going on with the other side.
I could see a member of Fatal Influence doing it.
Okay.
I could see JC Jenner, Fallon Henley.
Can they fix their entrance? Their entrance sucks.
It needs some work, but I like the name and I like what they're doing with it.
Yeah, but Jasmine Nix, I liked when she would tell the camera to, like, when she's laying on the apron before she gets in the ring, to, like, hey, come to me, and then back away. She really just does this. The camera comes towards her and then nothing.
Right.
I'm like, can you? And then, and then she does. And then one, like, what's her name? Doesn't do. Hit me out here. It's not. Is it Fallon? No.
Fallon Henley.
Yeah, Fallon Henley, where she typically has a cowboy hat, didn't have one on, and just did like the tip of the. Like, there's no hat to tip. So I just, again, those are nitpicking things, but I like what they're doing.
Yes.
With them.
Fatal Influence is how you properly build up a women's heel stable versus what they're doing with Pure Fusion Collective. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They have a better name, and they feel like a more legit threat.
Yeah. And now, is it as good as Fatal Attraction? No. But I like where it's going.
Mandy, Gigi, and JC Jane were a great heel stable.
Mm-hmm. And Mandy did get back in the ring at that.
That Chris Van Fleet's little combine thing I saw.
Yep. Yeah, she got back in the ring. She still got it.
She says she's thinking of getting back into wrestling.
It's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
And I think they're over what she was doing stuff with the OnlyFans type of thing. So but it's just they don't need her, and she really doesn't need them for what she's doing.
She could go to TNA, and she probably. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if she showed up in TNA. They could use her.
Yeah. And speaking about that, just going back to AEW, I forgot to mention Tony. Deonna Purrazzo is doing nothing. Can you put her against Mariah May for once?
Seriously.
Or Mercedes, something.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the point.
Speaking of open challenges, Jordan Grace did one on tonight's episode of TNA, and it was answered by NXT's Carmen Petrovic.
Oh, nice. I was wondering. I figured Carmen would, because Carmen just seems like that type of opponent. It's going to get a good match. Mm-hmm. We know where it's going, but at least it's still doing. Carmen's been in NXT for a decade. It feels like.
It's actually. I feel like she's only been on TV for like a year. It hasn't been that long.
I'm saying, but it just feels like it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a heel. It's going to challenge her. Next week.
Because at first, when I saw that, I thought it was going to be Jada,
mm-hmm.
and then I was like, no. So I'm like, all right, Thea, you're not going to bring on a main roster. You're not going to feed Lyra to her because you're trying to still build her up on Raw.
Yep.
Even though she came back to help to save Tatum, which at the end of it, didn't Tatum screw her over? So I never.
Yes, but I think that's the point, is that she's like forgiven her for stabbing her, betraying her. because she understands she's not a whole proportion. She's just not right in the head. She's not a bad person. She's she's a little off. But it's like, and plus Tatum was happy that she helped her out. So I thought it was sweet.
Oh my gosh, the Rascals versus Axiom and Nathan Frazier.
Banger alert! Banger alert!
It's gonna be so good. Jim Cornette, hide your eyes because it's gonna be a match you won't like, but I'm gonna love it.
And also, Wesley's gonna fuck them over.
Oh yeah, no, I know what's gonna happen, but it doesn't. But they're
It's gonna be an amazing match.
It's gonna be an amazing match, and I'm glad Trey Miguel is getting some tag action too, and not just being.
No, they're gonna have a banger before Wesley pulls any kind of shenanigans.
Right. Hey, Alexis. I don't think it's gonna happen. I just don't. You had a good presentation when you first came. We're like, all right, give him a fresh start.
I feel like they're still invested in, but it feels like he's not going anywhere. It's like he's going for like one random feud the other. It's like they need to put him into the title picture, and the problem is that like it's tough right now because he can't fit into the NXT title picture right now. He would just be more cannon fodder for Obafemi in the North American title scene. Maybe the Heritage Cup, we'll see. Because it feels like they're kind of going with like a tweener thing with No Credit Keshko right now with what's going on with Ron Sinclair. So they're kind of like they're not like completely bad, but they're not completely good either. So it's like I'm still enjoying that. I thought it was hilarious. It's like I love it. It's like Ron Sinclair's energy. It's like where Charlie's like, it's like you need to calm down. It's like stop writing checks with your mouth that our body that our group can't cash.
She is a perfect addition to keep that stable going forward because help me out here. Who's the other member that's overseas right now?
Oh, Tavion Heights. He was over competing in Noah. He's gonna be back soon.
And I saw something where they were very high praise on what he was doing over there too.
I've seen some footage. He was kicking ass over there.
Yeah,
I've seen some footage online.
When he comes back, that's going to add another wrinkle to the Ren Sinclair. So you remember when I first really started once I stopped my third or fourth boycott. And Roxanne finally got the title, and I really started to pay attention. It's really starting to really pick up. And I was like, D'Angelo family, North Quarter Catch, I just don't care. Now I'm caring about it.
I'm invested in the North Quarter Catch crew with Red Sinclair now being a member. It's it's added new life to the group.
Right. I was really surprised they're still not really putting the rocket ship behind Oba because I thought he did really well with his Ethan Page stuff. But maybe it's just me. And now they have him losing to Lexus. So...
Oh, you mean Or Mensa? You said
Or Mensa. Oh, sorry. Or Mensa. Yes.
Yeah, it's like we'll see. Obviously, they see something in him, or if they wouldn't have thrown him at Ethan Page, which made sense. It made complete sense storyline because he was the one who put Noam Dar on the shelf, and that was it. He was trying to do a revenge tour, but it just didn't work. So it feels like they're just trying to find stuff for Metaphor to do until Noam Dar returns from injury.
Right. I mean, yeah. Can Sheamus screw over Pete Dunne against Trick Williams so we can tie 2-3 storylines that make no sense?
He might do that on Raw before NXT on Tuesday. He might get involved. Remember, it's a fatal 4-way between Jey Uso, Dunne, Ilya, and Braun. For who gets to face Braun Breaker at Bad Blood for the title. So he could do it there. If I can see that happening, especially if Bronson Reed isn't recovered from COVID yet. If Bronson Reed's recovered from COVID, he's going to come after Braun like a motherfucker,
right?
And take him out of the match. But I could see him doing it there. I think Sheamus getting his payback is more likely on Raw because Trick needs to beat Pete Dunne on his own.
The reason I'm bringing that up is I'm with you. It's just the complaint I've had since the Pete Dunnes and the Mia Yims of the world that like there's two different storylines. One side you're a baby face, the other side you're a heel. Now Pete,
but Pete
he's
Dunne
feuding with two people.
Period.
Right, but I'm saying you're still feuding with two people, and there's no correlation between the two.
I think they're going to move on to focus more on the Sheamus stuff because Trick is going to beat him next week, and he's going to get that rematch with Ethan Page for the CW debut.
Okay.
So it's like this has been about building Trick up more, and he's fighting. You can't ask for a better partner to get better in the ring with than the Bruiserweight. So
no.
And I've been enjoying this episode. Really took this feud up to a notch that I wanted, where it was just like they just want to beat the fuck out of each other.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely this is the best feud Trick has had since Carmelo to me.
I was wondering what's going to happen with Roxanne tonight, but as soon as Ava decided to not have Trick and Dunn's match be the main event, and it had it happen immediately, I was like, okay, then Roxanne's going to get the main event slot, and that's probably means something's going to happen. Probably another Julia appearance, and hopefully, and yeah, it delivered.
Dude, it just now dawned on me speaking about the Julia Roxanne segment. It just now dawned on me who's actually going to challenge Jordynne Grace. It's Chelsea Green.
I could see that
because of all the history she's had in TNA, and they they brought her. Like, why would she be on the show?
I'm shocked I didn't even think of that. It's like she's got her and Jordynne Grace are good friends, so it's like that makes perfect sense.
And they brought her. Why would they randomly just bring her out on the show? You know, just to, I mean, obviously she's great.
They could do that. It's like also I could see her wanting to have a one-on-one match with Julia, and they get to have Julia show off her stuff before she faces Roxanne.
Yeah, that could work too. But yeah, so I honestly I would want Thea Hale because I want them to keep building new stars because Chelsea Green to me is established.
That would give her something to do because right now she can't go after Ridge. It's like that's got to be done by Duke Hudson and Riley Osborne with Andre Chase out solo the attack.
Can you just do something with Duke Hudson? I just feel like he has it to me.
He's probably going to lose to Ridge, but I agree with you.
Just do something with Dick. And to me, where Javon is going is him and Cedric having a blood feud at the end of the day.
It's very possible. It could be a setup.
Yeah. That's what that just my gut feeling says that's probably going to be the better back and forth, and we can really draw that out for 2 or 3 months.
But he's going to get to show off some stuff against Charlie Dempsey with that Heritage Cup title match.
Yeah. Let's see. And yeah, I did see a TikTok where the D'Angelo family went to Waffle House, and Channing was like, "Where's the pancakes?" and Tony was like, "We're at Waffle House." He goes, "Oh yeah." It was so like subtle, but it was funny. And then also Cora and Roxanne do a bunch of back and forth TikToks.
Yeah, Cora did another tease. She was right near ringside during the ending promo segment.
Yeah, but yeah, dude, Julia and Roxanne. I mean, every time they stare down, it's just like that's so money. Just print it. It's like every time they've had the stare down, it feels big. Yeah,
it
feels big.
And I loved it. Everything about it, like her whole entrance video with like the rose petals and everything. It's really cool. Her music is dope. It's like they got really nice music. I really like Julia's music, and I love that Chelsea. She got to lay out Chelsea. It's like I was like. She was holding back on that knee strike. I've seen more nastier knee strikes from. She
hit her shoulder, but that's what Kenny does. Like technically, that's what you're supposed to hit the shoulder.
Yeah,
like kind of like the right here.
It was good
area, but it was good.
Yeah, and Chelsea did a great job selling it. She was all like,
right. Oh yeah, Chelsea's.
I just love that she did perfectly. She laid out. Chelsea went after her. She laid her out, picked up the mic, and just was like, "You, me, Roxanne, CW," and then. I love how she then did a mic drop like this.
Yeah, she held it up.
She held it up and then dropped it.
Because she's just basically showing off that because you know how Roxanne holds up her title, so she just holds up the mic to be like, "I'm bigger than you."
Also, there was a smiles and also thinks also like that she was smiling, but then like she also had put on a serious face with like when they got really close. I also loved where she was. You see where Julia like tapped the title, like this is going to be mine, and it will be.
Yeah. And as I kind of put it on our Discord, which you can join by below, is they're saying that they want her to be the face, and I'm like, the face is already there. It's Roxanne Perez. But no, again, all bias aside.
Yeah.
I understand why you got to start. It's just Julie's so good, and we want Roxanne on the main roster. I mean, she probably would have been on the main roster a year ago.
I was going to bring that up. It's like the only reason she did not get called up was because of what happened with Cora Jade.
Yeah.
It's like they needed to have that heel presence because obviously I think they were definitely. I think Sean was prepared. I think he had an inkling that they were going to take Lyra as well. So he's like, it was because it was clear that they were building Cora Jade to challenge Lyra for the title before she got hurt. And so that threw him right to the pen. So they needed a really good heel. And it's like it. And so that's where they pivoted to Roxanne. And like, okay, we're going to have Roxanne turn heel. She's going to challenge Lyra. She's going to take the title and she's going to have a nice run with it. And then, not long whenever she's going to drop the title, probably, it's like, I'm like, it's going to be Julia or Stephanie McCurry is going to try to take the title for her. It's like, I know I wouldn't mind seeing Cora Jade take it, but we don't know when Cora's going to be able to get back in the ring.
We really don't.
She's been teasing things, but that doesn't mean that she's ready. It's like she's still doing tests on her. She shared off like she put out a video on social media about her doing this like stress test on her. And she's like, hopefully this is the last one I have to do. It's like, right. So it's like, so she's not, we don't know when she's going to be back. It could be a month or it could be another 2-3 months before she's back in the ring. So it's like, and plus it's like, there's only two ways I think this is going to go because they've really stacked. It makes sense. They really stack in that CW debut show. It's going to be in Chicago. Punk's going to be there. So that's the extra star power. And they've already got 2 big title matches. Ethan Page is going to be defending the NXT title. And now we got Roxanne versus Julia, which is TV money match. Holy crap. So I was like, that's a bold move having Roxanne and Julia, but it's like they want people to tune in. And what better way than to have the Roxanne and Julia face off?
Because we've talked about that when they bring in Stephanie and Julia and Delta, which I'm not familiar with Delta's work, sorry. But at least Stephanie and Julia, we were like, please don't do a Deanna Peraza and just feed them to this, and then you just bury him. I don't think, and we're like, but
that's the thing. It's like, as soon as she said that she challenged Roxanne, I was like, it's like Roxanne's not going to be holding on to the title for much longer.
But you can't squash Roxanne if you're going to take her. So no,
they're going to have a match. She's not going to squash. No, they're going to have a match. But it's like, there's only 2 things they can do here. It's like, she's not going to job to Roxanne. It's like, either she's going to take the title from Roxanne on the CW debut show, or if they want to stretch it out to Halloween Havoc and have it happen on PLE, they could have a shenanigans finish where either the match throws out or there's a DQ, and then they have a rematch at the Halloween Havoc. My gut says that they're going to pull the trigger and give the title to Julia on the debut show because that's going to be newsworthy. Because people are going to be they're trying to get people to tune in with the move to the new network. What better way to have a big title change like that? Now the question for me is, this is hard because Ethan Page versus Trick, that's a big match. That's a main event match, but it's like, I feel like it would be disservice to Roxanne and Julia if Roxanne and Julia is not the main event of the CW debut episode.
I mean, you know where I feel.
I feel the same. It's like, I think nothing against Ethan Page and Trick. I think it should, especially if Julia's going to win the title, you got to make it the main event.
Plus, we've seen that match before. We haven't seen this one.
No, exactly. Like, you could bookend the show. You could have Trick and Ethan, and if they want to have Trick win the title, have that kick off the show, and then you have Julia Roxanne deliver the banger main event, and Julia goes over and takes the title to close out the show. Then it's like debut episode, the top two titles change hands. It's like we're off and running.
Right. Exactly. All right, man. Well,
it's like the question. So it's like my question though is like if Julia's going to win the title from her, which is most likely going to happen, what's going to happen? What are they going to have Roxanne do afterwards? Like they could easily do a Halloween Havoc. I think I could easily, like, if she beats her for the title, they could easily have Roxanne try to get a rematch, and they do a rematch at Halloween Havoc.
Yeah,
because that's only a couple weeks after the CW debut in October. So,
and
I wanted to have
and Stephanie and Cora are just right around the corner. It feels like.
And then if Stephanie's visa issues are settled, have Stephanie. Either Stephanie's going to show up at the CW depending on when they get her visa issue cleared up. I can see Vacker showing up either on the CW debut episode or Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, and the thing is I think it'll probably be a rematch. I think Julie's going to win.
Yeah,
and they're going to do a rematch, and then that's when Cora shows up, screws over Roxanne, and then that's what you just do the Roxanne Cora.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if Cora's ready, she's going to play a hand to make sure that Roxanne does not get the title back, and then they could have a feud that will lead to Roxanne going to the main roster.
Yeah, so that's what I feel too. All right, man. Well, that about does it for us. Thank you. It's great times always. I mean, wrestling is just cooking right now.
They better give him they got to give him a good half hour with limited commercial interruptions. Like give Roxanne and Julia time to cook a banger main event on this debut show. Yeah, I believe that Shawn Michaels is going to make that happen.
Yeah, I do too. So anyway, for anyone else joining us or join us later, join us on, if you want to do any type of shows or anything like that you're thinking of, join us on the patreon.com/RuckusTV. We'll join us over there. We can help you out, produce the shows and all of that. And get you on the YouTubes, Twitch, Instagrams, Twitters. We're all doing live everywhere we can on there. Obviously, I've been mentioning it before. Join us on the Discord, which we have a link below. Join us over there as we post a bunch of stuff, talk wrestling, do live reaction and stuff. And speak about live reactions, we are going to be doing a live reaction to Bad Blood in October. So please mark your calendars down and join us over there. Put us on your big screen and put Bad Blood on your small screen. I don't care how you do it, but I would prefer that way. So you really see us in high def. But anyway, on behalf of myself and Justin, thank you all so much, and we will see you all next time.